Hello, everybody. My name's Jim, and this is a spoiler free review of I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. So, I wanted to do a review of this while it is fresh off in my mind. I just finished this memoir yesterday, and I have to tell you, this was one of the most compelling reads that I have had the pleasure of flipping through. I'm not going to really use a script for this review. I just have bullet points, so hopefully while it's still kind of swirling in my brain, I can actually, spit out some coherent thoughts here. Uh, but I did want to talk about this. It is the story of Jennette's life into stardom, being forced by her mom to audition for parts, audition for commercials. She kind of thrust her into stardom at a very, very early age. And, whenever Jennette wanted to get out, um, her mom had a tendency to make it about her. And really, at the core of it, and you learn this, really early in the memoir, that her mom pretty much wanted to live vicariously through Jennette. In her heart of hearts, she wanted Jennette to have the life that she didn't have, which sounds good on paper, but it's not the life that Jennette wanted. And it took a long time for Jennette to understand her situation, understand her trauma as a result of it, and ultimately get out. Throughout the novel, when Jennette's mom, makes decisions for her or reacts a certain way, Jennette will say things like, "Oh, she was just being a good mother. She was giving me the best life I could possibly have." It's excuse after excuse after excuse. I couldn't help but feel empathy for that because you do want to trust your parent to do what's best for her child, right? And it's very normal, to be a child who doesn't want to disappoint their parents and wants to make sure that they do right by them, and at the end of the day wants to believe that mom knows best. But a child really doesn't understand when they're being manipulated to, especially not by a parent. I think that in the memoir, Jennette details all the times where her gut just didn't feel right. And as a child, she felt that, but because her mom was this trustworthy figure who was put on a pedestal, that she didn't listen to that gut. She didn't listen to that feeling. And why would she feel that she had to as a child? That's what's so hard and what makes it so easy to excuse certain behavior. At least from my perspective. I never had to deal with this. So just viewing it from an outsider's perspective, like you want it to click, right? You want it to click for Jennette, but it takes a while. It takes a while. Jennette grew up with a smile on her face because she had to. She had to act a part. There was a part in the memoir where she said that instead of building character, I was building characters. And so it took her a while to get to that point where she could allow herself to work on herself. And it wasn't until her mom died that she was able to do that. And you are going to go through that journey when you read this book. The chapters are very short, and the humor that she uses and gets away with, this book deals with heavy, heavy material, and the humor is a great way to balance those heavy topics. I won't go into all of them. Like, honestly, if you need a trigger warning, it's everything. She uses humor so masterfully, and I'm glad that she today is moving into more of a writing realm because I think her writing is fantastic. There was nothing about this memoir, although, how are you really going to judge somebody's life? Um, the way she wrote this memoir was fantastic. There was not a thing that I hated about it. The chapters were short. I don't know if I said this, I might have, but I went through this now. I went through this memoir in like 3 days, and I was gushing about it to the people who would listen. And obviously, there are also mentions of Miranda Cosgrove and Ariana Grande in the memoir. And it really humanizes them, just as we place mothers on a pedestal or the dead on a pedestal. We often place celebrities on a pedestal as well, and we treat them like they're either above us, or if they do something wrong, then they're like the scum of the earth. But in this memoir, Miranda especially is an excellent friend, and like I'm not familiar with iCarly or Sam and Cat. Uh, that started airing around the time that I wasn't really watching Nickelodeon. I know what it is, and I know who Miranda Cosgrove is, but this memoir really painted her in a great light. She's a good friend, and it's very humanizing to see celebrities treat people with kindness. I feel like that's the bare minimum, and it's like, yay, you're a human, but it's just some people do need that little dose of reality where it's like, yeah, celebrities, they do just what you do. They have lives too outside of, the TV or the movies or whatever. Ariana wasn't mentioned very much, but I think that's mostly due to the fact that Sam and Cat was very short lived. But I believe I've seen, Miranda and Ariana come out in defense of Jennette, and they speak very highly of her, and they are, happy that she was writing this memoir and speaking her truth, and putting it all out there, and that just shows what good friends can do. When you go through all the crap that Jennette's been through, you really do need a support system, and just the fact that they were there as her support system as well as her other friends like Colton. um, it's just good. It's just really good to see. It's really wholesome. And I'm super happy that Jennette, when she does her interviews, she talks about how her life is now, and I'm glad that she is, I guess, doing fine. I can't speak for her, but she seems like she was at least in a comfortable place to, you know, be honest and be raw and speak her truth and speak her mind and say this is what this was, and this was not okay. And for that, I'm really grateful, and I'm glad that she was able to write this memoir. So if you would like to get it for yourself and read it, the link to the Goodreads page for I'm Glad My Mom Died is in my description. So click that, find the retailer that you would like to purchase it from, and read it. But otherwise, I've been Jim. You've been great. Happy reading.